in the world. Well, today we have a person born in Egypt, living in the UK, so I understand, but there's much more to him than just that, okay? Dr. Hany El-Banna is with us. Thank you for your time, and great to have you, well, in your company in this case, 2 successive days, so I'm pretty honored.
Thank you.
And assalamu alaikum to you.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you. Now, I'm looking at the things you do, right? Chairperson of the Muslim Charities Forum, President of the Humanitarian Forum, co-founder of Islamic Relief, and that's Islamic Relief Worldwide. Am I missing out on other things as well? Because I think there's like 10 other things, but amongst the key things?
I think that's enough. I think let us focus on the discussion of today about the charity work, about the humanitarian response, about the need for us to respond heavily to what's happening in the world.
Why are you here in South Africa in Ramadan?
I came to South Africa in Ramadan to visit the stricken area in Malawi and Mozambique about the cyclone, to see them and to learn a lot from the needs of the people, to learn it from the small organization in South Africa and Malawi and Mozambique, and to have a new vision of how to go forward, especially in Africa, of having big hit by a cyclone like this, affecting very poor areas.
Unusually so, because it's not common, right?
Yes, and twice in 1 month or 2 months in Mozambique as well. That's why I'm here, to learn more than actually to give something out.
Okay, and have you been to those areas, or you still
Tomorrow I'm going to Malawi, and next week I'm going to Mozambique, inshallah.
Okay. Tell me therefore, I mean, and when you say you want to learn, would that be part of the Muslim Charities Forum on behalf of them, or
it's Muslim Charities Forum is an umbrella of Muslim Charities in UK, about 17 organizations, being built 11 years ago to try to coordinate and collaborate between the organization and create big partnership between both of them and increase the capacity of the local small organization in UK. The second organization called Humanitarian Forum, which is a bridge between international organizations globally, when you bring people together in one platform to empower especially the small grown organization from the south, especially. This is the second organization. So I'm here on behalf of both of them, plus on personal capacity I want to learn, because the more you learn, the more you'll be able to deliver a message, the more you'll be able to find solution, the more you'll be able to motivate different community in different parts of the world.
So what's the great insight therefore in advance when it comes to relief organizations, humanitarian organizations like the ones you're involved in, being able to provide support to, drought-stricken areas, cyclone-stricken areas, flooding, earthquakes, whatever? I mean, is there a key formula that says this is the way we do it that will work?
You see, the most important thing you can take away from this response is a smile on the face of a child, or a handshake from an old man, or a nodding from a head of the old woman, which telling you thank you. It's very important to be with the people at the time they need you, not at the time you need them. You see, it's very important to stand next to them, and this is what makes the difference. What makes the difference is to be there, to be available, to be listening, to be amongst them. So this is what makes the difference between work is a mission, is not just a job. A job is a part of the mission. Humanitarian work is a message to be delivered not only to the poor people who are the owner of the money that you spend on them, but really a message to humanity, and the message which is the part of the message of Islam. So Islam is a universal message where the Prophet ﷺ was talking to everyone, anyone, everywhere, anywhere, even talking about animals, birds, habitats, climate, and all these sort of things. And humanitarian work is a part of Islam as a message, is a part of Islam as a mission, is a part of Islam as a product that you have to deliver to the community that you claim that you are serving. This is the dimension of the humanitarian work that would like to let the young people before coming to this field of work to understand the dimension and the mechanics of such a dimension which can build their character before coming and after they come.
Okay. Somebody listening in may be saying, I think I know what charity is, but what is humanitarian work? So what's the one-line description
Humanitarian
of
work,
what
as is
humanitarian?
defined by the West, is a relief response. See, to stand next to the people at the time of disaster. Once the disaster is over, you go to rehabilitation and you go to development and you go to a long-term program. Humanitarian work is the quickest response to the people in need at the time of need where they are. Like if in tsunami, I remember it was happening, I can't remember, 24th or 25th. The
Christmas Day, yeah?
yeah.
Boxing Day, the
Yeah,
next day,
and
yeah.
actually the first team from Indonesia in Banda Aceh was on 26th. We were there on 28, 29, traveling from UK to go to Banda Aceh at that time. This is where the people want to see you. Humanitarian response, a part of it is the human feeling in your heart towards them when they are in a state of shock. If they are in a state of shock and they even say shaking the hand without having anything to give, this is a feeling to lift them up.
You made the point earlier that the results of humanitarian work is exactly that, the girl smiling or the old man coming
That's
to,
it.
to shake
More-
your hands.
yeah.
I take it yourself, Dr. Hany El-Banna, you've encountered that on many occasions. The little girl smiling and the man.
Alhamdulillah,
hugging you,
yes.
yeah?
Yeah, that's actually when we go to different parts of the world and we don't know even to speak the language. We can speak the animal language. We can making some songs to them to let them what you need to be doing as a humanitarian worker is to draw a smile in the hearts, not on the face of the people. When people smile from their hearts, their body will be feeling the power that they can go forward in their agony, in their struggle, in their difficult life. So here is the challenge. And if your communication with them go through your heart, it will go to their heart to draw a never-ending smile on their faces, because it comes from their hearts. And this is where the people who don't understand your language, the people who don't understand your culture, the people who don't understand you, their hearts is open for you because they trust your mission. Because your mission is for them, not for yourself.
And do you find, therefore, that in just about all cases with these responses that you make, that these communities or countries affected by it, there's a sense of utter hopelessness or helplessness? Or in fact, is it helpless but there is hope?
It is helpless, and sometimes they lost hope. You know why? Because they lost everything. Like when you look now at the last influx of displaced people from Idlib in Syria, 300,000-400,000 came out after the bombing. They are sitting under the trees, have nothing with them apart from what they carried with them when they left home. This moment is the moment of helplessness. Losing hope is the moment when you have to be there with them. Even if you don't have anything in your hand, but being there makes life different for them and change the state of hopelessness into being hopeful, and they can fight
I
back.
certainly want to find out later on how did you get involved in that in the first place. My guest in the Champion People feature is Dr. Hany El-Banna. He's, amongst many titles, chairperson, Muslim Charities Forum, UK-based, that is, and then also president of the executive of the trust, that is, of the Humanitarian Forum, as well as a co-founder of Islamic Relief, which I think would be certainly well known to you because it's an organization that you should be familiar with. Lots to engage with. By the way, if you want to call in and engage, not me, but engage him, well, here's your chance. Otherwise, the opportunity will go away. So here's the numbers to call in. 011 680 0355 if you're doing it through Johannesburg. Through Cape Town, it's 021 442 3530. Voice notes are welcome. It's 083 709 2083. You can also listen in on Facebook Live, on Salam Media, as Instagram Live as well. But if you want to listen via an app besides online, just go to TuneIn and you'll find us there. Lots to talk about there. So, interestingly enough, you made the point that it's providing a relief response. It's always a response, right?
Yeah.
Humanitarian work is not proactive. I mean, there are people in other parts of the world, in this country, that do proactive nation building, community building. That's not humanitarian work.
This comes, you can do it while you are doing humanitarian response in an area which is settled, okay, or you can do it sooner after the humanitarian response is over, when you can build a community. There's different mechanics between humanitarian response and community building. Community building is a long-term program, not projects, because quite often people think that they've done a project of development. Development is a program made out of different projects: water, sanitation,
Absolutely.
health, and all this collectiveness. If we go to a village and we're saying that we need to develop this village over the coming 10 years, okay? So what do we need? We need schooling, we need the local market, we need a community center, we need sanitation, we need a clinic, we need schools, and all these kind of things. So collectively, over the coming 5 or 10 years, you make a program of development or development program to change the whole area, actually, by providing water, sanitation, and this is the development program. Inside the program itself, there's many projects you can do. Project is not just something somebody jump on a bandwagon and go and take a photograph and said, hey, we've got 10,000 projects. Each project lasts for 6 months or 1 month or 2 months. This is a joke. This is the jokers who actually sometimes infest the humanitarian work and the development work and the advocacy. What we need nowadays, Brother Ashraf, is not only development. We need to talk about advocacy, we need to talk about research, we need to talk about think tank, we need to talk about building youth leadership, we need to talk about building local community and empowering the local community and making them to be a part of the international
Absolutely,
community.
I think all these are important. Well, what do you say to the critics that say, if there's a problem in South Africa, Allah forbid,
Yeah.
if there's a problem in Mozambique, which is very much our neighbor, or Botswana, or Malawi, or wherever it may in the world, Haiti, Indonesia, wherever, really, we have enough problems of our own. Let those countries sort it out themselves. What do you say to someone who tells you that?
What will happen when it comes to you at home and people don't help you? It's the same. My duty as a humanitarian worker is to be responsive and responsible. Responsible for whatever I can. I don't say that I'm solving a Mozambique problem, but I can do my share. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها. Allah is asking you to do what you can. As I said earlier on, even being with the people there, even with sending a message.
But is it fair to say that in many, not one or two, I'm saying in maybe 40, 50 countries of the world, when there's a major disaster, those countries will not be able to cope if they don't get
Definitely.
if they don't get support.
Definitely. That's why we need, and not what we need, is to build problem happen in this area. The first team from the collective of the organization have the first $100,000, but by the end of the first or second or third week, we could spend the million or the 2 million, the 3 million. When our community feels that we are united, they give more money. They give more money to the collective because they feel that unity is the answer for actually responding to the different big disasters, whether in Syria or nobody can claim that they can do the work for Yemen. In one village in Yemen, in one village in Syria, in one village in South Sudan, in one village in the Democratic Republic of Congo, in one village in Central Africa. You know, in Central African Republic, as we were discussing it earlier, there's ethnic cleansing on a daily basis. Few 100,000 Muslims have already left to Chad and other countries. Why? Because of this ethnic cleansing. And nobody's talking about it. We need to talk about it.
Absolutely. Is your efforts specifically, Dr. El-Banna, is it Muslim orientated?
No,
I
no,
understand
no.
the inspiration, but do you go to Muslim places?
No,
you mentioned the DRC, which is not, I know, right?
Yeah. No, not at all, actually. You see, because Islam is not for the Muslims. Islam is for humanity. Islam as a universal message taught us to look after our next door neighbor, even to the 5th or the 6th or the 60th a neighbor next to us without saying, Prophet ﷺ without saying whether he is a Muslim or not a Muslim. When there is a need, there is no distinction. No distinction whatsoever.
And you, in practical terms, you play that out.
I believe in it. Even if I don't have the means, I believe in it. So I will stand before Allah telling him, you created those people, and this is my responsibility as a Muslim. If I don't have the means, but I have the message, that actually when we do work for humanity, we have to remove all the barriers, to cross all the borders, because the need is for the needy. And the needy, you see, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Surah Ma'un, أَرَأَيْتَ الَّذِي يُكَذِّبُ بِالدِّينِ فَذَلِكَ الَّذِي يَدُعُّ الْيَتِيمَ وَلَا يَحُضُّ عَلَى طَعَامِ الْمِسْكِينِ. Allah said in this surah, if you look at the scale, one side and one side, those people who do not treat orphan without mentioning it's the orphan Muslim and a Muslim, who treat them badly, are like the people who deny the religion, the day of judgment.
Okay, it's
not
that
only
important.
those people who do not advocate for the need of the needy, day of judgment. He never said, this is the Muslims or this is the team. This is very heavy to all of us. We have to cross all the to reach the needy, because the Prophet ﷺ, when he said, oh Allah, make me among the miskin, he never said Muslim miskin or non-Muslim miskin. That's among the miskin as a whole.
Yeah. How? Let's take with the organizations that you're involved in. I mean, how much? First of all, are organizations in competition with each other? Because you speak about coming together, so they do good. Everybody does good, but are they competing to be the best and better than the other, and they're in their own little league, if I can call it that?
There's no harm of competing, but when you compete, you can coordinate as well. Your market share could be 50%. My market share could be 5%. But one day I might have the most innovative idea which can give me the 50% to what you have. So at the end of the day, if you want to become bigger and to grow bigger, you have to allow the smaller organization to grow as well, to let them to stand next to yourself. Yani fatherhood in the humanitarian sector must be there. When the big organization take the small organization by the hand, not to cut their throat. This is very, very important. That's why coordination meeting, collaboration meeting is very important.
So how successful have you been? I mean, I know you're a prime founder of Islamic Relief, but I mean that's not your beat at the moment, right?
Yes.
You spend most of your time with the other forums. So with the Muslim Charities Forum in the UK, for example, are you successful in getting them to understand exactly what you just said?
We are partially successful. I have to be very honest, because changing the mindset is more difficult than actually planting a tree, than actually building a road or building a building. Working in the mind and in the heart takes years, but alhamdulillah, it is being taken seriously by a lot of organizations. We have 17 of them now in Muslim Charities Forum, but we need them to become 70 or 80 or 90 or 100, inshallah. There's a lot of hard work. Other thing is actually Muslim donors or even non-Muslim donors do not give money to this kind of activities. They can give you money for disasters, for a cyclone, for flood, for victims of conflict and on so on. But when it comes to tell them workshop, when it comes to tell them capacity building, when it comes to tell them research and advocacy, what is this?
Why not? Do they not get it?
This is the level of awareness which actually we need to raise the donors to have it. To be very honest, Allah said in the Surah Ma'un, had. The word had is absolute advocacy.
Okay.
Absolute advocacy. And now we don't invest in advocacy.
Yeah. Well, there you are. Lots of important insights coming out. This was my guest, Dr. Hany El-Banna, born in Egypt, living in the UK, I understand. But it also has got an OBE. I'll find out why did he get that OBE in a moment. 011-680-0355 from Joburg, Salam Media listeners. Otherwise, 021-442-3530 if you wish to connect with us via Voice of the Cape. But otherwise, I know many people watching us on Facebook Live as well. So thumbs up to you for watching, and you can actually comment right away even when we're there. I want to find out, in fact, where did it all start for a person who, in fact, is a medical doctor. We'll get to that in a moment.
pharmacy and emergency medical depot, conveniently situated in the Duzinet Medical Center, corner Bergman Wasser Street, Duzinet Square. We provide safe, affordable, and convenient medical facilities, open till 10 p.m. every day of the year. We have a full-house clinic that operates from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m., which is run by a qualified sister. The clinic offers immunization, vaccination, wellness, general consultation, and more. Call Duzinet Medicine Depot on 033 3421200. Duzinet Medicine Depot, your pharmacy of choice. It's been a household name for years. It's been an important ingredient in South African kitchens, and it's been an affordable, healthy choice for your family. Helios. First have pure sunflower pudding oil, and now introducing Helios margarines and spreads. Following the same traditions and tastes you've grown to love and trust from Helios. Fortified with vitamins A, D, and E, also rich in omega-3 and 6 essential fatty acids for a healthy eating lifestyle. Helios margarine and spreads, available now at all leading South African supermarkets. Helios margarine, a tradition lives on. Tens of thousands of Syrians, Burmese, Rohingyas, Palestinians, and Yemenis refugees remain destitute.
Talking to Dr. Hany El-Banna. Assalamu alaikum. Great that you engaging with us as a listener or a viewer, and you can watch us via Salam Media, Facebook Live, Instagram Live, as well as Voice of the Cape directly on radio. If you're listening, thumbs up. Glad that you're doing just that as well. And also via the app that is on from Salam Media, which is go to the Tune In app and you find us. 011 680 0355, Johannesburg, Cape Town 021 4423530, and the WhatsApp voice note 083 709 2083. Now, I made the point, you're doing impressive work. You're a medical doctor.
I was.
Goodness, like nobody gives it up. So do you actually say I was? Like you?
I do. I was.
All right, you better tell us the story. So what happened to you from the beginning? Because I understand there's a fascinating story between your choice of career, between your views, your mother's view and your father's view. What happened?
How is it? My father wants me to be a sheikh, alim, because he was alim, rahmatullah alayh. And my mother wants me to be a doctor, a medical doctor. So I went through my mother's tunnel. Of course, every child follow the mother, not follow the father. So I came to UK to do my medical degree, alhamdulillah. And
from Egypt, right? Yeah.
From Egypt, yeah.
Okay.
I'm qualified from Azhar University Medical School. And I never thought that we'll do Islamic Relief, or start Islamic Relief. My objective was to have a degree and go back to Egypt, open clinic, and this is the end of the story. But I feel that Allah gave me my degree, which is Doctor of Medicine, MD, because of Islamic Relief. So it was a crossroad between education, career, medical career, and humanitarian response. 1983 was a turning point with the famine in Eritrea and Tigray, with a part of Ethiopia at that
Okay,
time.
Horn of Africa, yeah.
And at that time, we found that Muslims in the country doing nothing.
In those regions,
in-
predominantly Muslim regions,
It's
right?
especially in UK. All the response for the non-Muslim. That's why the idea came after visiting Sudan and seeing some of the refugees to do something.
So why did you visit? Because I mean, you're the medical doctor.
yeah,
you
to
went
do-
on a medical.
There was a medical meeting there,
Okay,
and they went to attend it. And at the same time, one of the people working in an organization there took us by the hand, and we saw this kind of. We started in a very humble and simple, very simple.
But wait, that visit then from Sudan, Eritrea, that changed your life in effect.
Definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. I went back to my family in end of Christmas, beginning of I think the 1st or 2nd of January 1984, to show my family, my mother, my relatives, the images. And I raised about 1,500 Egyptian pound with 20 pence from my young boy at the age of 9. This was his chocolate money. This was the first donation to start at the first seat for Islamic Relief. Then from there, we make some khutbah in Islamic University, in Islamic Society, in the Islamic Society in Birmingham University and Aston University, and we raised about another few £100. We opened a bank account. That's it. And then we went from door to door.
Driven by what? The need that you
Driven
had
by
to
the
do something.
needs. Driven by the needs. The only thing at that time we're focusing on the needs of the people who came out.
Okay, but let me ask you this then before we continue. So, you're a medical doctor. I know what your mother and father said, fine. But you go to Sudan and you go to visiting the neighbors and you see what happens in Eritrea and you're obviously shocked by that, I understand, right?
Yeah.
But shocked is one thing.
Yeah.
How does that transfer?
And this is where you find most of the prophets, all the prophets have got this kind of responsibility which you cannot measure. And you cannot actually draw the dimension of the responsibility. It's so heavy when you see skinny people and dying people in agony. And he say, what I'm doing? And this shift you. Once you shift one angle to one actually 5 degree or 10 degree, it will take you to the right direction. And this is what happened exactly. The very, very strong images came out from the refugees camp at that time, make this shift in the mindset.
So it
in the heart.
changed you.
Definitely.
Right? Yeah. Okay, then you decided with you and who? To
With
start
me and
Islamic Relief.
when I came to UK, it was a Iraqi Palestinian brother, Dr. Ihsan, was doing his PhD in chemistry, and he said, yes, I'll be with you. Only 2 people. No office, no plan, no budget, no facilities, no VIP, nothing. And we were going from door to door, from shop to shop, from mosque to mosque, from street to street, from function to function, to raise fund for Africa. And with these donation boxes at that time, every Tuesday, or no, every Saturday, we used to go and open the donation box. The first headquarter of the organization was a donation box, costing us £16 at that time. We used to open it every Saturday and take the checks, £5, £10. In August 1984 was the biggest donation which came to us, which was £1,000 from a doctor originally from Libya. I was working in UK, to the people in Africa, and we made a party. Oh, £1,000, Narai Takbir, and this made our journey. After 8 months of hard work, walking from door to door. You see, this is very important. Never put the resources as a challenge.
Or the lack of resources.
The lack of resources as a challenge. Your challenge is to make resources. Your challenge is to drive your vision. Your challenge is to translate your vision into a product, a tangible product that the community can follow you. Your challenge is not to follow the flow as a leader, but to make the people to follow the flow you make for them.
Did you always feel that way? Never let the lack of resources limit your goals?
No, I never, because I left a multi-million pound organization to a 200,000 pound organization, and it's still 200,000 pound, and I cannot raise the 200,000 pound,
Yeah.
and we struggle to raise them. You see, this is the challenge. For 11 years, the budget is about 150 to 100,000 pound. We struggle to raise it, but because there's a need, sometimes the community might not see what you see, Brother Ashraf, but because of the need to keep planting this tree, our aim is to change the tree into a forest.
So you made the point that, or I claim that Islamic Relief, so that's the organization that you founded, right, with your Iraqi Palestinian colleague, then grew into what, the largest Islamic humanitarian organization, what, in the world or in the Western world?
In the world.
With your Iraqi Palestinian colleague. My guest, Dr. Hany El-Banna. We've got 5 minutes more with him, chairperson of the Muslim Charities Forum, and also president of the Humanitarian Forum. I wish I could ask him so many more things about things in Egypt and the Middle East. We'll see if we can get there in the remaining minutes. The question I wanted to ask you, so you mentioned some numbers. Just repeat that number again in terms of the Islamic Relief. Just what budget did that hold?
It could be up to 300.
300 million US dollars?
US dollars.
Okay, US dollars. How did the capacity grow from the two medical people walking on the high street in London with your little box to where it is now? What's the lesson? How did that happen?
We were focusing at that time in the 80s on the rich countries to start the fundraising offices first, such as America, such as Sweden, such as Germany, France, Italy, UK, and the others. This will stabilize your income. We did not rely on non-European or non-American countries at the very beginning, at that time. After that, we start to grow slowly in the south, like Sudan, Pakistan, and all the other problems. But when we made the balance between the two, actually we managed to raise the fund through the rich communities in different parts of the rich countries, as I mentioned. This is what made us, and what made Islamic Relief actually to be successful up till now. We were created at the time when the political atmosphere was not as bad as it was we see nowadays. The division among the Muslims was not as bad as we can see nowadays. The Islamophobia and the counter extremism and counter nowadays. But we managed to succeed excellently at the time of September 11, when we decided courageously not to put our head down, but to stand up and to defend the community globally and say, hey, we are not going to shy from the media. We're going to go to the media, to talk to the media, to head back to the media, and to show them the distinction between us as a humanitarian organization and the people who dip their head down.
And that worked.
And it did work very well. So at a time of disaster, you have to be clear and clean and vocal. Actually, I'm building this kind of partnership, coalition between others. Gates, 10 years. September the 11th, everybody knew us. From the United Nations, from the European Union, from the politicians, eyebrows about us.
What's your message to we got two? What's your message in efforts in?
We have to invest in our country in South Africa, build the capacity of the organization, build the capacity of our youth, connect with the greater non-Muslim community and society, show them the beauty of our culture, the beauty of our religion, the beauty of our values. Don't live in ghettos anymore. No ghettos anymore. Ghettos will make us live in a suicidal area, or in an area that anybody can come and remove us or alienate us from the country. It's the time that we will have to invest in women, in youth, in community building, and bridge building with our organization in our country.
And quickly, how in 30 seconds, how significant is Muslim relief, not Islamic, Muslim relief amongst all the Muslim organizations when it comes to relief work in the world compared to those who are not Muslim?
They could be the first, but nobody will know about them.
Why?
Because they don't use media. They actually shy from using media, shy from communicating and connecting, shy from coming to the international community and being a part of United Nations, a part of European Union, a part of all these big establishments. We have to know the art how to connect and be a part of the different
Right, here's
systems.
the last thing. What about giving charity with your one hand and covering it with the
This
other?
Organization money. My organization money has to be public, and everybody should know it. And I should be accountable to every penny that I spend, whether actually I spend it rightly or wrongly, because I'm accountable to community, accountable to government, accountable to donor, accountable also to the poor people that I claim that I'm their champion.
Of course, I will say he got an OBE for his work with Islamic Relief. So here's the last thing as we get to news. I made the point about moving South Africa from a mid-table nation to a champion nation, champion South Africa. What's the one thing we need to do as a country to get there?
Invest in human resources, invest in youth, invest in technology and education. Education is the cornerstone of advancement of any country on earth. Not the traditional education, the education with the continuing education in different aspects of life.
Absolutely. That's where we're going to leave it. Good chatting to you. I will chat to you wherever you are in the world because there's many other things I want to pick your brain on, but not today. Certainly one of our champion people in the world, I would say, Dr. Hany El-Banna, the chairperson of the Muslim Charities Forum, founder of Islamic Relief. Thank you for honoring us with your visit. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Let's get the news now and we join Voice of the Cape.